Juzi nimeongea na Natembea, akaniambia mtu akisikia ameenda kwa Ruto, ile watu wako karibu na yeye wamshike wapeleke yeye Mathare.
Na mimi na Rigathi tuko marafiki. Wakati Rigathi alikuwa anaongea mambo ya mlima mpaka akabanduliwa, mimi nilikuwa naongea mambo ya Muluya. Wakasema Natembea ameshikana wa Munyoro. Mimi sina hakika ya kwamba Mheshimiwa Rigathi atakubali mtu wa DCB akuja ng'ang'ana na mtu wa Natembea katika Khwisero. Hatakubali.
Sasa iko maneno inafanyika hapa. Serikali imeenda ikaona kwamba tunaenda kushinda hii viti yote. Imekuja ikapatia mmoja wetu pesa kwa jina George Natembea gavana. Ikamwambia enda huko Kisa East, enda chokora, so that huko sisi wote tupoteze, serikali ipite. Sasa George Natembea leo amekuja hapa Kisa East.
Mimi nakuunga mkono. Kwa hiyo maneno unafanya kule Trans Nzoia, wewe endelea. Sababu wewe unasema kwamba nimeona ukisukuma sana ndugu yetu Weta. Huko unasema Weta aende apumzike, si ndio? Anasema ati Weta nini? Tena unasema Mudavadi. So mimi nakuomba Natembea, hiyo list yako haijajaa. Tuko na mandugu wa Weta na Oparanya pia hao waende nao. Huyu Oparanya na huyu Eugene Wamalwa pia waende na huyu hao watu wote waende.
Ndio paka niko gavana saa hii. Sijawahi kula shilingi hata moja ya Ruto na sitawahi kukula. I will never. Nataka wale ambao wanaongea ukuja watuambie hapa kama pia wamekula pesa ya Ruto ama hawajakula. Wanakula pesa ya Ruto usiku, mchana tunatembea na wao.
Ladies and gentlemen, looking at the video clip that we have begun with this video, those are ones from one CLEOPHAS Malala and the Trans Nzoia Governor George Natembea exchanging words. Now, why is this happening? There is something that is currently happening in the Western region politics that we all have to take a keen look into, as this might cost the united opposition a chance to dethrone President William Ruto come the year 2027. Now, as of today, the 15th of November 2025, an unexpected turn of events within the united opposition happened, opening the eyes of the public into a developing drift and a fight between the two sons of the Mulembe nation within the united opposition, and that is the DCP Deputy Party Leader CLEOPHAS Malala versus the Trans Nzoia Governor and the DAP-K Deputy Party Leader George Natembea, as they both went head-on to accuse each other of being Ruto's mole within the united opposition. CLEOPHAS Malala was the first one to throw a jab at George Natembea, but George Natembea returned the said jab by also accusing CLEOPHAS Malala of being a Ruto's project within the united opposition. But the question that you might be asking yourself right now is, why is this happening? And why now that these leaders are accusing each other of being moles within William Ruto's government? Now, allow me to indulge you into the scramble for the spokesperson position in the Mulembe nation. In the past, Malala never took offense of Natembea's rising influence within the united opposition, and more so within the Luhya nation. Reason being, Malala predicted a fallout between George Natembea and his party leader Eugene Wamalwa, where they both were openly fighting and differing on the leadership of the DAP-K party, meaning that Malala saw that Natembea would head up defecting to either Ruto's side or joining the Matiang'i side and forming another party. Malala, knowing that Eugene Wamalwa was politically unable to speak for the Mulembe nation, He, Malala, was sure that his role as the Mulembe kingpin or the Mulembe spokesperson within the united opposition was secure. But Malala made a wrong gamble, or Malala made a wrong prediction. Why am I saying this? Natembeya and Eugene Wamalwa recently came into an agreement in a meeting that was chaired by Gachagua and Kalonzo Musyoka at the SKM Command Center about a week or two ago, where the two leaders agreed to work together moving forward and to have assault on the wood of Cleophas Malala. Natembeya was actually named, and his name was fronted as the possible running mate to Kalonzo Musyoka in the 2027 general election. Now, the both leaders came together in public, together with Rigathi Gachagua and Kalonzo Musyoka and some of the other united opposition leaders, where they actually embraced each other and spoke in unification. Now, this actually shut down the dreams of Cleophas Malala completely within the united opposition of him ever gaining the role of becoming the spokesperson of the Mulembe nation within the united opposition. Remember, Malala is the deputy party leader of DCP, and he is from Kakamega County, where he served as a former senator. And for Malala, he wants to have his place secure within the united opposition, and he wants to have something that he knows cannot be threatened in the near future by anybody from his community. Now, Malala has also seen that George Natembeya, together with BONI KHALWALE, the senator of Kakamega, they are currently coming together in unison and speaking the same language, which is the language of attacking President William Ruto. Why am I telling you that all this is because Cleophas Malala is insecure of his position within the united opposition? Remember, earlier this year, a few months, 1 or 2 months ago, Cleophas Malala had come out disagreeing with the united opposition for picking Mukisa Kitui as the united opposition spokesperson, where he disagreed with his party leader Rigathi Gachagua and all the other united opposition leaders for picking Mukisa Kitui as the spokesperson of the united opposition. Why did Malala do this? This was a sign of Malala feeling that his position within the united opposition was insecure completely because he, Malala, was the actual spokesperson for the united opposition. Remember, before, Malala used to address media as the spokesperson of the united opposition. Anything or any threat against Gachagua, any threat against any united opposition leader, Malala was the one that took the center stage in the media press briefings to defend the united opposition. But now, that was taken away from him by Mukisa Kitui. Now, where he thought actually he might get something by being the representative of the Luhya nation in the united opposition again, it has been taken away from him as George Natembeya has actually agreed with Eugene Wamalwa, and they have quashed their beef and decided to work together in unison for the betterment of the united opposition. So Malala has to actually draw jobs so that the united opposition can realize that Malala is still part of them, so that they will not leave him out when actually sharing positions for the government that is to be formed by the united opposition if they win the 2027 general election. Now that is what is currently happening. And I am sure, even in the past, there were claims that George Natembeya had been compromised and that he had been bought by William Ruto. But all those were allegations that were being funded and propelled by CLEOPHAS Malala and some few other individuals within the United Opposition, including Eugene Wamalwa then, for they were fighting with George Natembeya. But once George Natembeya came out and declared and saw that he will never work with William Ruto, that is when Eugene Wamalwa actually decided, you know what, I have reared this young man in politics and it's high time we actually had this father-son fight and let him take the role and become the person that will benefit from this partnership with the United Opposition. Remember, the Mulembe nation is the second largest voting bloc in the country. And if the United Opposition is to win the government with a Mulembe nation running it, then the Mulembe nation will have a very big share in the government of the United Opposition. But CLEOPHAS Malala wants to ensure that his position is secure. Remember, this man is also a very strategic figure that you cannot dare to lose. Remember, he was one that strategized the RUTOS campaign within the Mulembe nation back in the year 2022, selling the Hustler narrative in the Western Kenya. CLEOPHAS Malala is the person that united Ruto with Musalia Mudavadi and Moses Wetangula. So yes, we agree Natembeya is the de facto, is the current spokesperson of the Mulembe nation since he was coronated. But don't allow CLEOPHAS Malala to defect, because if he defects, it will be a very big loss to the United Opposition. We have seen what he did to William Ruto's government after defecting and losing his position as the Secretary General of the UDA party. Ladies and gentlemen, I leave it there. I would love to hear your take in regards to this. See you in our next video. This is the Kenyan Daily Report.